GHI Report. I'm I, and we have a couple stories to talk to you about today. Coronavirus continues to spread with about 570 reported infections, 2 of them now in the United States. It has taken 17 lives so far, and it has also been reported outside of China, in Vietnam, in Russia, in Taiwan, Australia, and 3 cases in Europe. Though the death toll seems low, the effects on the infected are devastating, leading to pneumonia among other complications. Being that the infected count of 570, most of these patients are able to be treated for those effects. But as the virus spreads and the number of infections swell, it will become harder and harder to treat each case with the resources that have kept many patients alive. If the virus spreads into less developed regions of the world, the fear that fatality rates will climb exponentially will be a very real concern. We will continue to report as we learn more. A few days ago, InfoWars War Room host Owen Shroyer was advised in a DC courtroom that the prosecution looked to ban him from the Capitol grounds and place him under probation, including drug testing. This for an arrest after his confrontation with Representative Nadler during the House impeachment inquiry. No judgment has yet come down on this case. Regardless, he was arrested yesterday morning while silently protesting with duct tape over his mouth and holding a sign. This seems unusual as there have been myriads of anti-Trump protesters who have been left unmolested in the same area of the Capitol. With no judgment yet passed on the previous charge, his protest, silent and undisruptive, did not warrant the arrest. Here's a video clip of Owen prior to his protest when he was coming in.
Here we go. Yeah, let's get them going. So here's the 5 minutes of hate. They'll deny the reality that Nancy Pelosi admitted that they started the impeachment process before Trump became president. So how?
It's bullshit.
No, that's
Not
sir. Let me talk.
bullshit.
Would you like to talk? What is Trump being impeached for? Sir, I will talk to you. I'll explain the truth. Trump is being impeached for what?
Any article of impeachment.
No, what? What are they bringing forward? Why?
Article of impeachment.
No,
Why?
why? What was it? Can anybody tell me why Trump was impeached? Activists that had any truth? That had any truth to their movement? They can answer a single question. You guys are all frauds. You've all been deceived. Sir, I can explain things.
I know how to.
Why are you alone?
I've heard it. I know how to.
Well, how is that, ma'am? But why is he impeached? Why is he impeached, though? So they can't answer. None of them can answer.
Why are you alone?
None of them can answer. How you doing, sir?
Just one you?
All right, so I'm not allowed to talk to the mentally defective here. You're not allowed to speak to the mentally ill.
In our final story, Senator Ted Cruz exposes the lack of evidence presented by the Democrats in day 2 of the impeachment trial opening statements, citing the prosecution has already repeated the same talking points and arguments from day 1, none of which constitutes any impeachable offense, nor even substantiates the articles delivered, which themselves don't contain an impeachable offense. He makes 2 points, and we'll go right to the clip here.
And one of the realities that's already setting in is just a few hours into their opening arguments, they're already repeating the same points they made for 13 hours yesterday. And I suspect the Democrats, through a fit yesterday, insisted they needed at least 3 full days to present the arguments. I think we're going to see an awful lot of repetition, making the same points over and over again. There were 2 things in particular today that I thought were highly notable. Number one, several of the Democratic managers made the case that Ukraine, denying Ukraine military aid, endangered lives, was a tremendous blow to American national security and was wrong. Even a moment of delaying military aid to Ukraine risked lives. You know, there's an old saying that hypocrisy is the tribute vice pays to virtue. And this is a really powerful example, because if there is such a compelling national security interest to give military aid to Ukraine, then what do these House Democrats have to say about the years that Barack Obama refused to give lethal military aid to Ukraine? And in fact, I traveled to Ukraine in 2014, came back and urged Barack Obama to give lethal military aid to Ukraine. The Obama administration refused to do so. And a second point, I think the House managers made a very serious strategic error today. Adam Schiff's arguments to open the day today directly drew into question Hunter Biden, and made not only his testimony relevant, which it already was, but it is now critical because the House Democrats have built their entire case on the proposition that any investigation into Burisma and corruption was a sham, that it was completely debunked.
With that, I just have two more words to say.
Semi-automatic.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the GHI Report. I will be taking the rest of the weekend off. H is going to do a report on a new hospital that China has put together. I'll let him tell you about that tomorrow, and he's going to also be putting out some new memes. I will be back with a new report on Monday, and look for us to talk again to RL, and see you soon.